into the festive period we go now, with, of course, teams trying to make some push for the playoffs and also trying to avoid their drop. Who's going to take full advantage this coming weekend? We're going to take a look at that and more next. That's right, folks, back once again in a prediction video. Today we're for match number 25, of course, over the Championship. And we'll get to that in just one second. If you're new, where you been, smash your subscribe button back at all things Championship related, Rovers related, World Cup related. We got it all here, boys. Well, the World Cup's done. World football related. We got it all here, boys. Under one roof. Of course, I am recording this ahead of schedule on the 23rd of December. Now, these games, of course, are, 5-6 games later. But, of course, I'm going to be on the road when these games go on, or at least when the video would be recorded. So I'm going to get it done now, because I just don't have the time to squeeze it in amongst all things going on, because the festive period is known to be hectic. So we're just making sure the predictions are there for you. But of course, we'll get to them in a second. Of course, big shout out to my VIPs. They are the patrons, of course. You know who you are. But anyway, let's show you what I'm talking about right here, right now, of course. So here we are in the Vortex, and these are the results. Or these were the predictions, sorry, for Boxing Day. My picks are on the left. The question marks, the mysteriousness is on the right, which of course is the results. I could be looking at a Rovers 4-0 demolition job of Sunderland here, or I could be looking on a 5-0 trumping by Tony Mowbray's boys. That is Sunderland, of course. We also could be looking at, hopefully, a Birmingham stuffing of Burnley. That's what we'd like to see. But again, I don't know. You guys will know. But here in the past, this is what, of course, the table looked like right here, right now. Burnley were top of the table, 47 points on the board, with Sheffield United, of course, in second. But of course, all that would have been changing around about now, so we will see, of course, when I come back around to see what's going on. But you guys are probably laughing at my face because Rovers were shit against Sunderland. But we'll see if I'm right or wrong whenever I come back. But anyway, if you want to get involved with the Super Brew, that keeps on keeping on. Just keep putting your predictions in when I tell you. So right here, right now, go over there, cut/EFL Champ, get your picks in for match number 25, and see how I get on as well, because you know how I get on, and I might be top of the table by now. You just don't know. But anyway, these are the games, of course, coming at you on Thursday, the 29th of December, match number 25. We start with QPR up against Luton Town, of course, coming at you at Loftus Road, aka the King Prince Foundation Stadium, of course. QPR now managed by Neil Critchley up against Luton, of course, managed by Rob Edwards. Played each other 18 times, 2002. 9 wins for QPR, 4 for Luton, 5 draws, of course. Big win for QPR over Luton, 2-0 win. Big win the other way, a 3-1 win. Luton, of course, scored 22 goals compared to QPR's 28 over the course of those 18 games. Works out around 1.56 goals a game compared to 1.22 for Luton Town. Last time around, over at Loftus Road, it was a 2-0 win for QPR back in November 2021, but of course since then a lot has changed. I do have odds though for this game coming at you. 11-10 is your QPR, 23-10 is your draw, 12-5 is your away win. For me, I'm going to go with the win for QPR. I think Critchley is a stellar appointment for QPR. I think Rob Edwards was a bit of a questionable one for Luton. I think they could actually be in a bit of trouble. Meanwhile, moving forward, it is Rovers up against Middlesbrough. Now, this is of course taking place on the 29th. I may still be able to do a watch long for this one. We'll see. But if not, we'll figure something out. Played each other 40 times in 95, 16 wins for Rovers, 10 wins for Middlesbrough, 14 draws, of course. Rovers, though, biggest win over Middlesbrough, 2-0 win. The biggest win the other way, a 4-0 win. Middlesbrough, though, scored just 33 goals compared to Rovers' 37 over the course of those 40 games. Works out about 0.93 goals a game compared to the 0.82 scored by Middlesbrough. Last time around, of course, over at Ewood, it was a 1-0 win for Rovers back in January 2022. We also did a 2-1 win over Borough way back in October. In fact, we're actually unbeaten against Middlesbrough over the last 6. However, things have changed. Carrick is now the manager for Borough, and JDT can be a little bit hot and cold at the moment, can't he? Do you have odds on this game? You have 13-8 is your Rovers, 8-5 is your Middlesbrough, 11-5 is your draw. I'm back in Rovers here. Got to back my boys. 1-0 win for them to keep on keeping on. Next, of course, we have Coventry up against Cardiff in the Battle of the Seas. Now, these two sides have played each other 26 times, 2003. 7 wins for Coventry, 12 for Cardiff, 7 draws, of course. Biggest win for Coventry City, 3-0 win. The biggest win in their way, a 2-0 win. Coventry have scored 26 goals compared to Cardiff's 34 over the course of the 26 games. Works down around 1.31 goals a game for Cardiff, 1 goal a game for Coventry City. Last time around, over at the Rico, it was a 1-0 win for Coventry, who also beat Cardiff this season back in October, way back when. Of course, the odds right here, right now, for the Battle of the Seas is 2019 on is your Coventry, 12-5 is your 40-5 is your away win. That is, of course, Cardiff, who could be in a relegation fight here. Going to go with a win for Coventry, though. 2-0 win for them. They are contenders, guys. They are real serious contenders for those playoffs. Meanwhile, Millwall up against Bristol City coming at you over at the Den. Now, these two sides have played each other, according to my eyes. 24 times in 1993, 9 wins for Millwall, 7 wins for Bristol City, 8 draws, of course. Millwall, though, a biggest win for them over Bristol City, 4-1 win. The biggest win in the way, a 3-0 win. Of course, Millwall scored 29 goals compared to Bristol City's 23. Works out about 0.96 goals a game for Bristol City, 1.21 goals a game for Millwall on this one. Why am I saying bloody Middlesbrough? Anyway, kicking off, I've got Middlesbrough on the brain. Kicking off forward last time around, over at the Den, it was a 1-0 win for Millwall back in September 2021. They also played each other this season back in October. It was a 2-1 win for Millwall over at Bristol City. The odds right here right now, we have Millwall 11-10 on for the victory, 5-2 is your draw, and 3-1 is your away win, which is Bristol City. Going to go with a draw here, point apiece. Millwall still in the mix, of course. Bristol City are in a bit of trouble at the moment. We'll see about that. Meanwhile, Huddersfield Town up against Rotherham. Bit of a Yorkshire affair here. Played each other 18 times, 2005. 11 wins for Huddersfield, 2 for Rotherham, 5 draws, of course. Huddersfield's biggest win over Rotherham, 5-2 win. Biggest win the other way, a 2-0 win. In fact, Huddersfield scored 36 goals compared to Rotherham's 20 over the course of those 18 games. Works out about 1.11 goals a game for Rotherham, 2 goals a game for Huddersfield Town heading into this. Last time around, though, over at Huddersfield, it was a nil draw back in April 2021. They also played each other at the New York Stadium back in, of course, October. It was a 2-1 win for Rotherham. The odds here, though, for this game, we have Huddersfield 6-5 for the victory, 5-2 is your away win, 11-5 is your draw. I'm back in Huddersfield here with a 1-0 win. There's a bit of fight left in that tank, and I think that win could boost their chances of avoiding the drop. Meanwhile, kicking off forward, Wigan up against Sunderland coming at the DW as well on the 29th. Played to the 25 times to 2003, 9 wins for Wigan, 10 for Sunderland, 6 draws, of course. Wigan, though, biggest win for them over Sunderland, 3-0 win, the biggest win in the way, also a 3-0 win. They scored 28 goals. Wigan have compared to Sunderland's 32 over the course of the 25 games, works out about 1.28 goals a game compared to 1.12 goals scored by Wigan. Last time around, though, over at the DW, it was a 3-0 win for Sunderland back in February 2022. They also played each other this season over at Stadium of Light. It was a 2-1 win for Tony Mowbray's boys. Love you. The odds here, we've got 70-10 for Wigan, 11-5 is your 8-5 is your away win here. We're going to go with a win for Wigan here against the Grain, 2-1 for them at the DW, which can be a tricky place to go. Meanwhile, West Bromwich Albion up against Preston North End, of course, come at you at the Hawthorns. Played each other 20 times this year, 2011 wins for the Baggies, 7 wins for Preston North End, 2 draws, of course. West Brom, though, biggest win over Preston, 4-1 win, the biggest win of the way, a 3-0 win. Preston have scored actually 21 goals compared to West Brom's 30 over the course of those 20 games. Works out around 1.05 goals a game compared to West Brom's 1.5 goals a game heading into this. Last time around, though, over at the Hawthorns, there was a 2-0 win for Preston back in around about this time last season-ish, 26th of Jan, way back 2022. They also played each other this campaign in October back at Deepdale. Was a 1-0 win for Preston. Meanwhile, the odds right here right now, we've got the Baggies coming at you at 2017 on. They are different beasts right now. 5-2 is your draw and 60-5 is your win, and that is, of course, the Nobbers. Going to go with a 3-0 win for West Brom. They are also back in the mix. Of course, they could make it even a push with that team, with that manager for the playoffs once again. Blackpool up against Sheffield United coming at you at Bloomfield Road. Now, these two sides have played each other 12 times, done 7, 2 wins for Blackpool, 3 for Sheffield United, and 7 draws, of course. Blackpool's biggest win over the Blades, 3-0 win. The biggest win in the way, a 3-0 win as well. Blackpool scored just 14 goals compared to Sheffield United 17 over the course of those 12 games. Works at around 1.17 goals a game compared to 1.42 goals a game scored by Sheffield United. Last time over at Bloomfield Road, it was a 0-0 draw back in March 2022. They also played each other this season at Bramall Lane, 3-3 draw, of course. In fact, Blackpool were unbeaten against Sheffield United over the last 4, pick up 3 draws and a win to boot. Last time around, though, of course, the bookies odds is 11-4 is your Blackpool, even Stevens is your Sheffield United, and 23-10 is your draw. I think it's going to be a tricky old game, but 3-1 win in the end for Sheffield United. Moving into Friday, December the 30th, it is Birmingham, it is Hull City. It's coming at you at St Andrews, of course. Now, these two sides have played each other good in my eyes. 20 times done, 6 wins for Birmingham, 9 for Hull City, 5 draws, of course. Birmingham, though, biggest win for them over Hull, 3-0 win, the biggest win in the way, a 6-1 win for Hull. Of course, Hull, in fact, scored 35 goals compared to Birmingham's 23 over the course of the 20 games. Works out around 1.15 goals a game compared to 1.75 goals a game for Hull City. Last time around, though, over at the Birmingham, aka the St Andrews, 0-0 draw it was back in March 2022. They also played this season over at the KCOM. It was a 10-0 win. Sorry, not 10-0 win. A 2-0 win for Birmingham on this one. The bookies odds, even Stevens is your Birmingham, 23-10 is your draw, 14-5 is your away win. Which way will they go? I'm going to go with the win for Birmingham. They look the real deal, and also they are contenders, sitting 9th as of recording. Norwich City up against Reading, of course, coming out at Carrow Road. Now, these two sides have played each other 29 times in 1985, 13 wins for Norwich, 9 wins for Reading, 7 draws, of course. Norwich, though, 58, what did we look at? 7-1 win was the biggest win over Reading, 4-0 win was the biggest win for Reading over Norwich. In fact, Norwich has scored 47 goals compared to Reading's 39 over the course of the 29 matches. Works out around 1.34 goals a game for Reading and 1.62 goals a game for Norwich. Last time around, though, over at the Carrow Road, it was a 4-1 win for Norwich back in May 2021. They also played this season over the Matchday. It was a 1-1 draw way back in October. The odds here, we have 4-3 on is your Norwich, 12-5 is draw, 50-4 is your way win. That's Reading. Going to go with a 3-1 win for Norwich on this one. Moving forward, it's Swansea up against Watford, of course, coming at you over in Wales. Now, these two sides have played each other 17 times since 2008, 7 wins apiece and 3 draws. Biggest win for Swansea over Watford, 3-1 win. The biggest win of the way, a 2-0 win. In fact, Swansea have scored 18 goals compared to Watford's 19 over the course of those 17 games. Works around 1.06 goals a game compared to 1.12 for Watford. Last time around, over in Wales, there's a 2-1 win for Swansea way back in January 2021. The odds here, 70-10 is your Swansea, 9-4 is your 31-20 is your Watford here. Going to go 2-2 here, point apiece to see who comes out on top on that one. Then wrap it up. It is Stoke up against Burnley, coming at you over the Bet365 Stadium. Played each other 24 times in 1984. 7 wins for Stoke, 9 wins for Burnley, 8 draws, of course. Biggest win for Stoke, 2-0 win. The biggest win away, a 1-0 win. Stoke have scored 21 goals compared to Burnley's 20 over the course of those 24 games. Works out about 0.88 goals a game for Stoke, 0.83 goals a game for Burnley. Last time around, that over and Stoke, it was a 1-1 draw. Earlier this season, over at Turmoil, it was also a 1-1 draw. Of course, the odds right here, and I've got basic odds. Basic odds go in favour of Burnley. They are favoured, of course, to win this game. Going to go with a 3-1 win for Burnley to keep the heat, probably at the top of the table in my eyes. Of course, I don't even know if I'm right or wrong, but of course, if I'm right, of course, the table will change respectively. But make sure you get your picks in, EFL Champ, Cutley, whatever it is. Link is in the description down below. But anyway, that is it. Of course, we'll be back one more time with this weirdo stuff. This will be the New Year's fixtures or whatever it is. So make sure you come back for that. And then after that, we'll be back to normal. But until then, guys and girls, subscribe, thumbs up. I'll see you soon for the next.